Okay. All right, everybody. Thanks for being here today. It is 3:04, October 17th. The meeting is called to order for the City of Semmes City Council work session. Roll call, please.
Mayor Baker.
Here.
Councilmember Watts.
Here.
Councilmember Smith.
Here.
Councilmember Webb.
Here.
Councilmember Platt is absent. And Councilmember Lawshe.
Here. Very good. Roll call. Obviously, we're missing a person, but we have a quorum, so we are a legal meeting. Okay. All right, next item is the approval of the minutes from the previous work session council meeting of October 3rd, 2017. Those are in your packet if you take a look at that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Very good. The minutes from the work session of October 3rd are approved. Next item is item 4, presentations. The first report is from Chief Brooks on Hurricane Nate. How you doing, Chief?
Good, how are you?
All right. Thanks for being here. Okay.
I just wanted to do a recap on Hurricane Nate, what we did as far as the city. We began monitoring Hurricane Nate 96 hours from landfall. We had a joint meeting of personnel from Public Works, Semmes Fire and Rescue, Mobile County Sheriff's Office, and City Hall on Thursday, October the 5th at the training center. Things that were discussed were the track of the storm, activation of the EOC, preparation measures, coordination of cleanup measures, and social media messages. The next morning, on Friday, October 6th, the liaison with the Semmes EOC attended a weather briefing and teleconference with NOAA at the Mobile County EMA office. Reports indicated the storm was tracking more easterly and would affect our area beginning around 8 p.m. Saturday, with 40-mile-per-hour sustained winds and gusts around 75. Rainfall amounts between 5 to 8 inches with widespread power outages. A follow-up meeting was held by the Semmes EOC command staff on the afternoon of Friday, October the 6th, to discuss staffing, operational objectives, strategies, EOC activation, and social media messages. On Saturday, October the 7th, a soft activation of the EOC was done, and extra personnel from Public Works and Semmes Fire and Rescue were brought in that afternoon. Outer bands started affecting our area around 8 p.m. and the intense part of the storm was between 12 and 2 o'clock a.m. During the height of the storm, Semmes Fire and Rescue suspended all operations until it was safe to respond. At 6:30 a.m., crews from Public Works and Semmes Fire and Rescue were dispatched to all 4 quadrants in the city limits and the fire jurisdiction, according to the incident action plan. Damage assessments were conducted between 6:30 and 10 o'clock a.m., with damage and road debris being minimal with sporadic power outages. On Tuesday, October the 10th, a debriefing was held at the training center to discuss the efforts before, during, and after the storm. All paperwork and documentation was filled out and sent to Mobile County EMA for reimbursement through FEMA. In summary, I thought the activation went real well. I thought we were real prepared for the storm. Some of the things pointed out during the debriefing, we needed more training on records reporting and financial tracking. We needed to modify our Semmes Fire and Rescue policy for call responses to be in line with Mobile County EMS. The ability to give real-time updates on the city's website, and also clearly assign duties not to duplicate efforts. Any questions?
Mr. Smith?
Sounds like it was a really great exercise. I mean, it was an
Was.
actual activation, I understand, but great benefit, especially for the debriefing there. Thank you for working your report there.
Mr. Watts, question?
That's great. Y'all were prepared, getting, ready for, I guess, storms in the future, so, great.
Mr. Webb?
Just thank you very much for being well organized and ready to help us.
Okay.
And we appreciate it very, very much.
Yes, sir. Mr. Platt?
Nothing, thank you.
No? Mr. Lawson, any comment?
Sound like y'all are ready. I'm glad we dodged a bullet.
Yes, sir, we did, we're ready for the next big one to happen. It's just, it's not a matter of, if it's gonna happen, it's when. So I thought that this was a good exercise, a good prelude to the big one when it hits.
And just to follow up, I appreciate all council comments, and I want to just take a second to applaud Chief Brooks and Jason, city clerk, city staff, everybody working together. It was a team effort. I think we were ready. I think we were very fortunate that we were only hit a glancing blow, and that's good. But as you said, it was an opportunity for us to practice. And when you practice, you learn from the things that don't go quite right. So we'll tighten those areas up. But again, thanks to everybody for your help on that. And I hope we never have a hurricane, but
Amen.
unfortunately, one day, one probably will come. But anyway, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, good, man.
Okay, next presentation is bike racks and water fountains from Tyler.
How's it going, y'all?
Okay.
A little background on this. It was brought up a couple months ago. 2 students from NGM had brought up a proposal before the Parks and Rec Committee about the installation of a couple bike racks and water fountains out there by NGM and the other schools. Then from there it was presented before City Council, and then we had to figure out some of the logistics. I've been in contact with some of our city employees, like Denise and Jason. Our city attorney, Chris, has done a lot of work on it. I've spoken with Moz, Mobile County School Board, and the Semmes Community Center. And so after negotiations and stuff like that, this is kind of where we're at as far as costs. If you can look at the handout that I sent, they were asking for 2 water fountains. After speaking with Moss and then going out there and assessing each of the sites, one of which would be right there at Semmes Elementary School, right there in front, and the other being to the northeast side of the Semmes Community Center. The water line installation cost would be $650 per meter. And that's for the meter and the backflow preventer. Since there's 2 of those, that cost would be $1,300 total. The fountain installation cost, after speaking with Mobile County School Board, Tommy Sheffield, he said that they would be more than happy to install each of the fountains. The materials cost for the fountains, I did this based on spec that Denise Daly gave me. It's $2,778.48 per fountain. There's 2 of them. A total of $5,556.96. And like I said, those locations are the Semmes Community Center and Semmes Elementary School. I have spoken, like I said, with Tommy Sheffield with Mobile County School Board and Ms. Dixon over the Community Center, and they are both okay with those locations. As far as the bike racks, not quite sure what it's going to take for an installation cost, as far as whether or not we can just put it on flat ground or if we need to have concrete foundation formed up. And I wasn't sure on the shipping costs on that right now. As far as materials costs, it's $621.99 per bike rack. There's 5 of those, so it would be $3,109.95 total. The locations that were presented were 2 at MGM, 2 at Semmes Middle School, and then 1 located at the Semmes Community Center Park. And so overall, the total estimated cost is $9,966.91. And after speaking with Moz, and Mobile County School Board and Semmes Community Center, each of those entities said that they would be willing to cover the monthly bill for the water fountains. We would just need to get a letter from each of them stating that they would be taking over the billing on that. And that's all I have.
Okay, Mr. Smith, questions?
No question?
Mr. Moss?
No.
Mr. Webb?
No.
Mr. Platt?
No, sir.
Mr. Lawson?
No.
Are you going to, I know you are, you're going to work with our counselor on the paperwork part, or are we already there? Or do you need to do some things to it?
There was a resolution passed a
While back.
while back,
Yeah.
but it didn't, it was just for the actual items, not for
Right.
everything else that it takes to actually install it. So I think that way, if you wanted to do something on this, you need to redo that resolution and bring it before
Okay.
council.
So we could put that up for an amendment and not have to reinvent the wheel. Right.
Yeah, I think we ought to, wait till the next meeting at least to
Okay.
get the wording right.
All right. Thank you, Tyler. You worked the details. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is the Public Works report from Jason and Robert.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello.
I'm gonna go first before Rob comes up. He's gonna show a couple of before and after pictures of some small projects that we've been doing, just to kind of get everybody familiar with what we do on a day-to-day basis.
I trust you're going to talk about McCrary, Wolf, and 98.
Definitely not. I'm gonna give you an update on that. This is just a quick run through with what's going on. The Moffett-McCrary intersection project, everybody knows about that. I spoke to the contractor today. They plan on paving next week. Next week they should start paving on all the widened areas that they've done. After that, they'll begin on the middle turn lanes and the medians. So still looking at another, what they're saying, another 4 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. The next deal is the resurfacing project, which is we've had about 8 of our city streets resurfaced. That project is, the paving is complete. Punch list items are still being addressed at this time, the general cleanup, driveways, things like that. Another thing we're doing right now is we're working on a message center for the library. It's a sign that we're going to put up at the library that'll have all of our city events can be put up there, any kind of public notices we want to put up there. So we're getting quotes together on that right now. I've got 3 quotes in from 3 different vendors, and working on the design of that. And as soon as we get something together, we're going to bring it to the committee so everybody can look it over before we bring it to city council. Future projects that we're working on, the safe room. Right now at this point, the agreement is signed and the grant submittals are about 50%. As soon as those are done, they'll be submitted to FEMA, and we'll wait on their approval, and then we'll be able to start construction after that's approved. Phase 2, the Phase 2 street lighting, I think Tyler talked about that last time. We're waiting on approval today from City Council. Once that's done, the street lights can be ordered and installed, and that is to be done before Christmas. So we should have, I think 18 or 19 more lights, street lights before Christmas. The next infrastructure project we have as a city is the Redstone West and South. Mainly a drainage project and resurfacing project. Right now that is being advertised. It's been advertised for 2 weeks now. We've got 1 more week of advertisement. They have a pre-bid meeting scheduled for tomorrow here at the council chambers. And what that is all the contractors that plan on bidding the job will come up here and be able to ask questions and talk about the project with the engineer. Once that's done, the bids will be submitted on October 24th and open publicly in this building. And then on the 7th of November, the next council meeting, we'll be able to award the bid. City Council will be able to award the bid to the lowest responsible bidder. The next thing we got going is the playground equipment. You guys approved the agreement last time, but we had some changes that had to be made, so they're going to run that back through with you this time. A couple of the items had to change on it, so we want to get you guys to approve it again. But if everything goes well with that, we will be able to go ahead and order the equipment and schedule installation, and they are saying it's about a 10-week turnaround. So by the end of the year, we should have new playground equipment out there at Municipal Park. Okay. And, that's mainly what I want to do is just catch everybody up on what's going on with Public Works. Our crews are just doing routine maintenance. Our maintenance crews working on pothole patches. You'll see them out on Sweetbriar is one of the new roads that we've annexed over the past couple of months. There's a lot of potholes on that. We've been working on that. Some wing repairs, asphalt wing repairs throughout the city. A lot of those roads get old and the wings start crumbling first, and so we get those patched. So that's what they're working on now. The right-of-way crews are getting ready to transition from grass cutting to start doing some things that you can't do in the summertime, like tree trimming and drainage work and sign repairs, pothole patching, things like that. So. And the last thing I have is this Friday we have an opportunity to host some students from University of Mobile. They're coming out to Public Works for a couple of, get some civic hours, and we're going to show them how to build a park bench. So we've already got the templates ready. We're going to have a small safety class on how to be careful with tools and get this group of students and let them learn how to build some park benches, and we're going to put those out at the municipal park. So I thought that was a good.
What are they gonna build?
Park benches.
Be nice. Time well spent.
Yeah. So that'll be Friday morning at, I believe they're going to be here between 9 and 1. Is that right?
Okay.
That's all I had. Before Rob comes up and shows a couple of slides, is there any questions about anything going on?
Mr. Stin?
No questions.
Mr. Watt? Mr. Platt?
None.
Mr. Witt? Mr. Lawson? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hello all.
Hello.
I'm going to give you all more of a little pictorial of what we've been doing as far as using the equipment that we've got from the city here. So this is City Public Works Road and Asphalt projects. I'm going to touch base on a few of our road and asphalt projects that we currently have. You can go ahead and next slide. Right now we've dealt with a little pothole patch over at Camellia Cove. The Salem Road is where it is. And then we also had Shady Acres Drive. It's one of our roads in the city. They're one of the original roads in there. It's pretty old, and we've been doing a lot of wing work on it. Sweetbriar Drive is, like Jason had said, it's going to be one of our newer roads that we put into the city. And then Red Creek Drive. So first one up, it's going to be Camellia Cove. As you can see here, we had a pretty good little pothole right there. And typically what would happen if, when we get a hold of something like this beforehand, we would just get some cold patch, tamp it in, and just redo it every couple of months, because cold patch tends to wallow out quite a bit. But what we've done, we've gotten increased capabilities due to getting the roller that we had. We now put in hot mix. Hot mix is a permanent solution, so it really works very well for us. You can see us, you can go on the next slide there, doing the work is what I call it. We cut it all out, got it all gravelled out and flattened out, and then you saw the end result was we got it nice and patched up. That basically, we have increased capabilities now that we have that roller in place. We can do all kinds of driveway stuff, as you're going to see soon enough. Next one is Shady Acres Drive. As you can see, there's a lot of issues on Shady Acres Drive. That road needed a lot of love. It's going to be repaved in a couple of years, but it's in bad shape right now. So what we did was we went out there using our roller, using our backhoe, and we cut out all of these areas, and we started really fixing up all those little wing walls, making that road, rejuvenating it as well, doing the work, getting it taken care of. Go on to the next one. This is going to be Sweetbriar Drive. Now, these folks have not dealt with us before. The first indication, they got annexed in just recently. We went out there and we started taking care of the road. We wanted to show them this is what the city of Semmes is about, taking care of the infrastructure, making sure that their annexation brings them a lot of benefits. So we went in, you can see there's a lot of wing wall issues here as well, and driveway issues. So we went through, cut out all those little areas there, and made it back to new. So once again, using that roller, using our backhoe, using hot mix and the resources that we have, we went and took care of business over there. Last but not least is our Red Creek Drive. As you all know, we just recently resurfaced Red Creek Drive. Well, the construction company said that it was going to take a little bit of time to put in the driveway aprons. So we went ahead and we took on that. Of course, they're going to end up paying for it in the end, but we wanted to go ahead and take care of it because there were issues with the new drive going in and being just a little too high. People were having to jump onto the drive to get out of their driveways. So we went ahead and did those tie-ins for them. As you can see, we went in using the roller, using our backhoe, and using hot mix. We went in and took care of business there and really gave them these tie-ins for the driveways. Now, I want to tell you all about what kind of savings this brings to us. Before, we were doing driveways, right-of-way rejuvenation and driveway aprons and tie-ins. We were using a contractor to do that. That contractor charged $600 for each driveway plus the materials. So what we ended up doing is it ended up being about $770 per driveway. This driveway with our guys cost us $327.
Thank you.
So we're saving 63% every driveway we do. We don't have to wait on a contractor to go do it, we'll do it ourselves. So I want to thank the council, thank the city for allowing us to have that roller, getting us the equipment to get us going and making us more efficient and helping us with doing these driveways and taking care of the city. So that's my part of it. Do you all have any questions?
Anybody? Mr. Smith?
I appreciate the enterprise that you all are showing. Thank you very much.
Mr. Wall?
It's good.
Mr. Webb? Mr. Platt?
Good, that looks like Mr. Cousins' driveway.
That is, and he was very, very happy about it. He said we did a better job than the guys that did the rest of his driveway. He asked us if we can go further. And we're like, I don't know about that now.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Ms. Walsh, anything?
Sounds like you're doing a good job.
It definitely is. Doing good work.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's see. Next, we're moving on to Transportation Investment Generating Economic Recovery document. Well, this is a document that I gave everybody on the council a copy of. Last Tuesday, I attended a meeting with the mayors of Pritchard, Saraland, and Satsuma. And basically, we talked about this document, which is an initiative on the part of the city of Pritchard. They're kind of spearheading the thing to request money for basically a Tiger grant, which would allow them to extend the existing transportation system, the WAVE system, the mobile transit system, out to the cities of Pritchard, Saraland, Chickasaw, Semmes, and Satsuma. As you know now, the bus only goes to a certain point and it stops. They'd like our help and support on this. As I told you, they didn't give us a tremendous amount of time, and there wasn't time to research this adequately and get it back to them 3 days later. So what I'm doing is I'm giving everyone on the council a copy of the letter. I would like to ask you to read that at your leisure, do some research if you wish to. Feel free to call the City of Pritchard planner and ask her about it. Legal is going to take a look at it. If you'll notice the amount on here, I think they mentioned, was it $1 million? I think it's $1 million they were shooting for. The problem with $1 million is even if you received the grant and started up the program, it wouldn't last long. You'd run through $1 million pretty quick. So I think we might want to consider asking for more than $1 million, probably along the lines of $10 million. But anyway, that's what that is all about. And since I was at the meeting, council, if you have any questions. Yes, sir. Yeah.
At the mayor's instruction, I did talk with James Blackman,
good.
executive assistant over at Pritchard. He
Good.
filled me in on a few details, and that is that the deal would be Pritchard would be the lead applicant on the SARPC study with the intent of setting up an authority, transportation authority. And he was talking about $25 million project.
Even more.
And he said there would be no local match if they succeeded in getting this. His initial thoughts were that their buses would run up Lot Road to Schillinger and then either to 43 or down this way down to 98. And that's basically the information I had at that point.
That's good. I'm glad you talked to them. As you can see, this would be good for our people. This would be good for the citizens of Semmes, both in and out of the city limits, because it would include us on the wave route, which I think would be a plus. And so we will see how that goes. We'll research that and we'll work it. All right. But as I said, council, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to help you with that. All righty. Let's see. Moving on, review of checks for signature. Has everyone had a chance to review the checks? Mr. Webb, did you see?
I did. I looked at the
Okay,
list.
Mr. Platt?
I'm gonna do a list, let's do it.
Hold that.
Okay, Mr. Lawson?
Yeah.
Are you good, Mr.?
Been through the list. I'll look at the checks for everybody.
Okay, all right. Any comments or questions regarding the checks? Okay, very good. Moving on, review and discussion of proposed ordinances. We have no proposed ordinances today. Next item is review and discussion of proposed resolutions. The first one, 7A, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Great Southern Recreation, LLC. Basically, we're revisiting an earlier resolution because the wrong model number was put on the resolution, and we had to change the model number of the piece of equipment to be in compliance with the bid law, correct?
That's
So
correct.
we've done that now.
Same amount,
Same
same
amount.
everything.
Yeah.
It was approved last week or whenever.
Yeah. The amount didn't change, but I'm glad council caught that. All right, any questions about 7A? Anybody? No questions, Smith? Anybody? All right, moving on. This is item B, authorizing agreement between the city of Semmes and Alabama Power. This is for the initiative regarding more lighting, which I think everybody likes. I haven't heard anyone say they don't like more lighting on the streets. So good news on that. This would simply broaden the number of street lights that we have now, and I think we have that moving in the right direction. If there are questions, fortunately, the right people are here. Do you have any questions, Mr. Smith?
No, I'm all for this.
Mr. Smith? Mr. Webb, any questions on the
None.
lights? Mr. Platt?
I'm good.
Mr. Washington?
No,
End of the driveway, that there will be something there. We just had a recent accident where a person went straight across into the next person's yard, so
Right.
it was the guy, his back was exposed where the car flipped, so I appreciate
Good.
Jason and those that do that.
Well, lights are good. They increase safety and visibility, and they do not cost a tremendous amount of money, so it's kind of a win-win thing. All right. Appreciate Public Works working on that too. All right. Moving on now. This is item C, Fire Department acquired structure agreement form. This is a procedure to set up and process buildings donated to the city of Semmes for burning, for training exercises. Is that right? All right. And let's see. It's in your packet. Maybe some questions on this. Council knows about it. Chief Brooks knows about it. I guess we'll go around the room. Questions? You have any questions, Mr. Smith?
Just want to make sure we have a clause here to really verify it's the correct house before it gets burned down.
Probably a good idea.
One of the, I would suggest, you may want to look into getting a title report done on these things, make sure that the right person who signs this form donating this house actually owns it.
Good point.
Those are a couple $100, $250 usually. Would also verify whether there's any mortgages and things like that on the property. Basically, you want it to be free and clear.
Before we burn it down.
Right.
That's for sure.
Excellent point.
Chief, does that make sense?
Yes,
Okay. Can you handle that?
I can.
All right.
Does it exclusively, Chief Brooks, have to be a resident or something like that? Or like, I think I had talked to you about, situation I've got where I've got, you know, trees and whatever that are, just piled in the midst of, you know, property. So I don't know, that might not be though, but just, a physical building instead of, you know, just big, large.
Yes, this is more of like a dwelling.
It's a
Okay.
structure, yeah, it's a
Okay.
structure,
And
it's a
I-
building. That,
Okay.
no, most of the time, the homeowner, I guess sees little if any value in it, perhaps wants to remove the building for property value.
Right.
And so they're doing the city a favor by giving it to us, to allow us to burn it down for practice for the fire department. But like council said, we need to make sure the title's clear.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a good thing to have swimming back in here on a Tuesday. So make sure that, and by all means, chief, we'll help you anyway.
Sure.
You know, but,
And not only, you know, are we gonna burn it, we're gonna get some training before we do that,
good,
as far as, you know,
Yeah.
ventilation and search and rescue and forcible
Okay.
entry. So not only will we do a live fire exercise, we'll be doing a lot of training before that.
good. It'll be a worthwhile event.
It
Are you gonna bring in other municipalities?
Yes, so we're gonna bring in our surrounding volunteer fire departments. And,
Okay.
we'll let them get in on some of that training.
Okay. You gonna invite Mobile?
I mean, Mobile does this all the time. I
Yeah.
was looking at it more of, you know, with our volunteers,
Sure,
that we don't
sure.
really train as much. We get more calls with Mobile than we do with our other departments, so.
Okay.
I can reach out to them.
It'll be good to make them aware of it.
Yes.
Because they've certainly been good about helping us when we call on them at 2 in the morning, so you can mention it. They might want to send somebody. Okay. All righty. Any other comment or question on item C? Mr. Webb, yes, sir.
Yes, I know where there's a house on the back end, on the back side of this
Right,
property over here where the big trail mobile home park
Right.
used to be.
right.
And you can't see the house from Schillinger, but it needs to be
Burned out.
burned. And,
Okay,
all the information on who owns the property, the telephone numbers and all that is right on the sign there. But we were in there the other day, we had a complaint about people being in there at night, smoking, whatever.
right.
And the 4 gunshot sounds that went off, and went back there, and it's in such a, it needs to be burned.
Sure.
So we'd have somebody to,
Can you look into that one?
Sure.
Okay.
you know where I'm talking about, Chief?
Just give me the address. You know,
Mr. Webb will give you all the data on it and after the meeting, and check that out.
It's a mess.
If we can do that legally and all, then fine, but we need to make sure we do it the right way.
Jason needs to bush hog the
Okay.
lot.
Okay? Thank you, sir.
Do like that.
Anything else on the structure agreement? Anyone else? Mr. Smith, Mr. Platt?
So,
Yeah.
we will be returning this to add in the title search.
Yes,
And,
we'll amend it to add title search to be conducted by, the lead will be the fire department.
Well,
That
this
makes
is,
sense.
the form is, the property owner's certifying to y'all that they own it, but, so the form is for them to donate to us.
Right.
Give us indemnity, it's the right house, I agree that you can do this, there's no asbestos, stuff like that.
Right.
The title search, if there's that doesn't need to be in that agreement. If you want to put in the resolution, approving the process and say something to that effect, that before proceeding with the burn, and that needs to be verified and cross-referenced, you could put it in that. That'd be all right.
Okay.
It does need to be done. You can't just take their word for it.
Right. Good point. Okay. We'll have to get a clear title. All right, so we proceed slowly on that. Okay. Once you burn it down, you can't go back to. All right. All right. The next item is item D, authorizing agreement between the City of Semmes and North America Fire Equipment Company. This is our annual inspection of the Jaws of Life. How many Jaws of Life are we talking about?
We have 4.
4. And they certified, when's the current certification expire?
It's expiring pretty soon.
As we assume?
Yeah.
Okay, and this obviously allows us to recertify.
And it's actually like 4 different sets. With each set, you have a power unit,
Right.
a spreader, a cutter, and a ram. So
Right.
it's not just, one piece of equipment with each unit. It's 3 or 4. So it's quite extensive maintenance and inspection.
Where do we send it to?
They come to us.
They come to you?
Yes,
Okay, well, good.
they do it on site.
All right, Mr. Smith, questions?
Must be done.
Mr. Wise? Mr. Webb, questions?
Yes.
Mr. Black? Mr. Losh, any questions on that? No. All right, moving on. Let's see. Authorizing agreement between the City of Semmes and the Gulf Coast RC&D Council. This is a fire department initiative trying to get a grant for $2,300 for equipment, in particular fire education materials. As I understand it, if the grant is awarded, we front the money. We prove to them by documentation that we've spent the money on these items and they reimburse us. Is that right?
Yes, sir. It's
Okay.
the same type grant we got last year for
Okay.
$10,000, and
Okay.
it's totally 100% reimbursable.
Very good. Okay. And as you know, this is fire prevention month, right? October?
Yes.
Okay. And I talked to Chief Brooks the other day about fire prevention month, just as an aside, and we are actively reaching out to all the schools and all the nurseries and the child day care centers to try to get as much education as we can out there. And so I appreciate you pushing on that. Okay. Are there questions about item E, Mr. Smith?
No question.
Mr.
No, sir.
Mr. Webb?
None.
Mr. Black?
No, sir.
Mr. Lawson?
No.
Okay. Very good. Let's see here. Moving on to authorizing an agreement between the City of Semmes and the Semmes Chamber of Commerce. As you know, every year the Azalea Festival is held. It's an annual event. It's a large community event. And this year, again, it will be held this year on, I believe, March 3rd was the date that I was given. And in the past, we have provided lately a performance service contract between the Semmes Chamber of Commerce and the City of Semmes. The performance contract, of course, goes through legal, and it is blessed by legal and made sure that all the wording is there to make sure that we are properly accounting for public funds. That said, I believe we're all familiar with the Azalea Festival, and at this point, if we'll entertain questions. Mr. Webb, sir.
I had a question,
Sure.
I was talking to someone about it, and they said that the Azalea Festival is in the spring.
Yeah.
This is not quite the spring.
March 3rd?
That time of the year.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you're right, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's not quite spring.
When is this going
I
to?
guess they call it the Winter Festival. When is it?
March the 3rd.
March 3rd, yeah. Yeah. And their rain date will be the next Saturday, presumably, as I understand it. So it'll be the 3rd or the 10th.
Is that the festival that was at First Baptist Church?
No, this one's at Mary G.
Oh, okay.
This one's at Mary G.
Okay.
And basically it's a combination of many things. It's a barbecue contest, 5K run, dance contest, beauty contest, you name it. And there may even be a 3-on-3 basketball tournament added to it this year, which will be good because if you use the gym that day for the basketball tournament, all the people are already there. So this could be a very good thing. We're working on the details of that, to add that to it. Excuse me. All right. Any other questions about the performance agreement regarding the Chamber of Commerce and the Azalea Festival? Mr. Black?
No.
Mr. Lawson?
No.
Mr. Smith?
No question.
Very good. Moving on, this is approving City of Semmes Public Works to assist the Semmes Chamber of Commerce at the Semmes Azalea Festival. This is basically discussing the labor support that would come from the City of Semmes. It has a dollar limit on it. Basically, we're providing some labor, some barricades, and the like, not to exceed, is it $1,200? That would not to exceed $1,200 for the support for that day. So that's on the same subject. You got any questions, Mr. Smith?
I'm glad we're accounting for this and giving the Public Works Department due credit for
Very good.
their work on this.
All right, let's see, Mr. What?
Oh, that's fine.
Mr. Platt?
No.
Mr. Webb?
That's item G.
Sir?
Item G.
Item G.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, F and G are kind of together, yeah. Mr. Walsh, any questions? No. Okay, moving on to committee reports. First report up is Finance Committee, Mr. Smith.
Within just the past hour, I've received the first report on the amount of traffic we have on a new website. Basically, we've had 1,913 visitors to the new city website, and they've spent time looking at 7,206 different, well, there have been 7,206 views of the different pages and sections of the site. So that's a pretty good start for this massive new professional website that we have. That's the report.
Very good news. Thank you. Any questions for finance? Anybody, Mr. Webb? Any questions? No? Anyone, Mr. Platt? Mr. Walsh? Okay. Very good. Thank you. Next is roadways and right-of-ways. Mr. Walsh?
Well, Jason gave us a report.
Yes.
He takes care of that road right away stuff,
Right.
and, no, nothing major. Seems to be going along pretty smooth.
Okay. Very good. And finally, Mr. Platt, Parks and Rec.
No report, nothing.
No report. Okay. All right. Now we're down to item 9, council, legal counsel, and staff comments. Are there any? Anybody? Okay. Number 10 is other business that might come before the meeting. I wanted to take a minute and talk about two ordinances that we approved, one that doesn't take effect until November. But I had a few questions on them. I think a few people might have been confused about it, but I want to kind of to put it on the record. The nuisance ordinance that we passed recently, that again will not take effect until November, is designed basically to be not a constrictive document, but something that will make our community better, our neighborhoods better, promote property values. And by that I mean, let's say for example, you live in a house and you spend a great amount of time keeping the grass cut, keeping the weeds down, making sure your trash is put away, and then two doors down, you have the opposite. And you have some people, unfortunately, who do not care about how their front yard looks or whether they have derelict vehicles in the yard or not. But the problem is, if they're next to you, they're affecting your property value. There's also an issue of health. There's also an issue of fire. If you're not cutting your grass, if you're not taking care of the business of your own yard, your own property, things get out of control. And that's when fires come about, and that's when things go south. And regarding the noise ordinance is not designed to be punitive. The noise ordinance is designed to give relief to those people who have an excessive problem with noise pollution, noise problems. For example, you're trying to sleep at night, and your neighbor has 10 dogs that start yapping, and they yap all night long. Well, obviously this affects your quality of life, and obviously we need to take some steps to address it. But I just want to reiterate to the people that these documents, these two ordinances, are designed to make the quality of life better. They are not designed to be restrictive in any way, and they are certainly not designed to impinge on anyone's freedom. It's simply a matter of all of us working together as a community to have a better community. So I just wanted to take a moment to talk about that. Okay? All right. Let's see. Where are we? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that we amend the agenda upcoming for the regular session, not due to the importance of the item that is not being included, which would be the Parks and Recreation recommendation.
Sure.
But in order that I may point out that I think the mayor and possibly other council members are mistaken in procedures on who has the authority to open and close the agenda.
Okay,
I was told 4 days ahead of time that, well, we'll discuss that.
okay. You want to add something to the regular agenda?
Yes.
We can do that. We can, when the regular session starts, we can
Move to amend it at
move
that
to amend
time.
the agenda.
I'd also like to talk, or see if we can go into executive session to discuss some personnel issues and some actions by
Okay,
council members.
okay, we can do that. When we get to the regular session.
Yeah.
All right, very good. All right, sir. Any other business that might come before the meeting? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Any opposed? We are adjourned until, let's see, let's give it, what time do you show?
3:50.
Let's give it till 5:04, give everybody 15 minutes to stretch a little bit. All right, what time is it?
4:07.
4:07. All right, good. It is 4:07. The regular session of the City of Semmes City Council is called to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Watts,
Here.
Councilmember Smith,
Here.
Councilmember Webb,
Here.
Councilmember Platt,
Here.
Councilmember Walshy.
All right, invocation and pledge of allegiance. Let's see, I always, Miss Mary Calhoun, would you mind doing the pledge of allegiance
No, sir.
today? And let's see, I asked somebody different. Let's see. Tony, would you mind doing the invocation? Okay, all right.
Please pray. Thank you, Lord, for this day and the city council and the residents of City of Semmes, our Lake community, and bless all of everybody in this facility and the workers of Semmes, and have a fruitful life, and God bless everybody. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance. I
pledge
allegiance
To the flag of of the the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Thank you both. Thank you. All right. The next item is the consideration of the minutes from the regular council session of October 3rd, 2017. It's in your packet. Give you time to look at that.
Move the minutes be approved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Good, the minutes from the regular council session of October 3rd are approved. All right, there are no presentations or guest speakers. Next item is the approval of checks for signature. We'll go around the room. Has everyone had an opportunity to look at the checks? Everyone, anybody not looking at the checks?
Move they be approved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote.
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very good. The next item is going to be we need to talk about resolutions. Resolutions 9A through G. Is there a motion for immediate consideration?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote?
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Here. Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very good. All resolutions are added to the agenda. The first resolution is, we talked about this in the work session, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Great Southern Recreation. Again, this is an amendment to the original resolution. The dollar amount on the document doesn't change. It's simply an item description, a nomenclature change. So that's the good news. And this keeps us in line with the bidding law. We're in line with the bidding law because we always have to pay attention to that. Are there any comments on Resolution A? Mr. Smith?
No comment.
Mr.
No comment.
Okay. Mr. Webb?
None.
Mr. Platt?
No.
Mr. Losh?
No.
Okay.
Move we approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote?
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Thank you. Moving on, the next item, 9B, authorizing an agreement between the City of Semmes and Alabama Power. Again, this is a continuation of our lighting program, the lights. And I think the good news about that is the more lights you add, the safer your community, especially out here. Sometimes you get away from the main road and that little light overhead might be the only thing around. So I'm glad to see us taking an initiative on that to add lighting, additional lighting to what we already have. Any additional comments, Mr. Smith?
No comment.
What? Maybe we'll approve that one.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, a roll call vote?
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Very good, thank you. Now we're moving on to item C, which is the fire department acquired structure agreement form. We talked about this in the work session as well. We're trying to make sure that we have the paperwork correctly created, and to include now as an amendment to make sure there is a title search for any house given to the City of Semmes in the event we use this for a fire training exercise and subsequently destroy it, burn it down. That before we do that, we do all due diligence on paperwork, title search, everything else. And I would encourage, of course, that before we light the match, we make sure our attorney is good to go with this. Yes, sir.
On that one, if you want to approve it, it should be phrased as move to approve the resolution as amended.
Okay. Move to approve as amended. Very good. Okay. And I think Chief Brooks, you're clear on this, and we'll help you with that in any way we can. But you understand it. You understand what we're getting at. Okay. Because sometimes people will claim they own something and they don't. Imagine that. But it does happen. So we want to make sure we do the right thing. All right.
I do move we approve as amended.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Moving on, item D, authorizing agreement between the City of Semmes and North America Fire Equipment Company Incorporated. And this, we talked about this earlier. Any questions regarding Resolution 9D?
I move we approve.
Second?
Okay, a roll call vote?
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Thank you. Moving on to item Resolution E, authorizing the agreement between the City of Semmes and the Gulf Coast RC&D Council. We talked about this earlier in the day. Any questions on that?
Move we approve.
Second?
Roll call vote?
Councilmember Watts,
Yes.
Councilmember Smith,
Yes.
Councilmember Webb,
Yes.
Councilmember Platt,
Yes.
Councilmember Walshie,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Moving on, item F, authorizing an agreement between the City of Semmes and the Semmes Chamber of Commerce. This is again for the Azalea Festival, scheduled for 3rd of March of next year, with a rain date, as I understand it, of the following Saturday, which would be the 10th of March. We've discussed this before. This is an organization we have supported in the past. Essentially, the Azalea Festival, the Chamber of Commerce is performing a task for the city, and we are entering into a performance contract with them for that. Move we approve. Okay.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Watts?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Platt?
Yes.
Councilmember Walshy?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes. Moving on to the next item, approving City of Semmes Public Works to assist the Semmes Chamber of Commerce at the Semmes Azalea Festival. Again, this ties in with Resolution F, and basically it focuses on the fact that the Public Works Department will be providing some support, logistics support for this event on the 3rd of March, not to exceed $1,200.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Watts?
Yes.
Councilmember Smith?
Yes.
Councilmember Webb?
Yes.
Councilmember Platt?
Yes.
Councilmember Walshy?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes, very good. Next is comments and announcements. Just want to remind you, if there are public comments are welcomed at the end of the meeting. Just a reminder though, comments are to be kept to 3 minutes, and that is 3, if you're taking it a little bit farther, you can talk about the same subject 3 times. So if you get to the 4th person and we're talking about the same subject, that's the end of the discussion. Make sure we maintain decorum, no profanity is allowed, no attacks on council. And if you're citing a specific ordinance that you wish to address, it would be beneficial to the council for study purposes to indicate the section and the article and specific nuisance ordinance or whatever it is, so that we can look at this later and give it some due deliberation. Very good. That said, let's see here. We're now open to public comment. Are there any public comments?
No, sir.
Okay. Is there any other business that might come before the meeting? Okay. I do want to remind everybody that Veterans Day is 9 a.m. at Honor Park. If it rains, we will go inside Semmes First Baptist Church. So that is our alternative source. I would encourage you to attend. It's going to be a big event, much bigger than last year. I think you're going to enjoy it. We're observing Veterans Day on the federal holiday. That's why it is on Friday, the 10th, I believe, 10th of November. All right. So that is the official federal holiday, and that is why we are doing it. And as I said, I want to encourage City of Semmes employees who wish to attend. We would ask their supervisors to make arrangements for them to do so. All right. All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.